What is up, YouTube? It's your boy Robski, and it is a fabulous day here in Boise, Idaho. And I am just doing a video I haven't done in a while because I've been out of the game for a while. And I'm a little late to the party on these subjects, but I'm glad that you guys are taking time to watch me. Okay. So, a couple of things. Steve Randall, congratulations to Steve and Rebecca Randall for getting their weddings going, and they're just getting done with their honeymoon in Vegas. I ended up being the one of the best men, and I gave a speech, which a lot of people liked. And I just want to let you know, I know I kind of ramble on my channels. Anytime you give a speech, don't overcomplicate things. Keep it to several points, get it in and get it done. And that's apparently what I did. Okay, so let's get right to it. I know I'm a little late to the party, but and I'm tired of giving this guy coverage, but I just want to, I think that anybody's watching this, whether you're a sports guy or not, if you're a law guy, I am just absolutely fascinated with Clay Travis, and I think his mind works a lot like mine. Quick background on Clay Travis was really interesting. He's from Tennessee. He went to law school. He was a lawyer. I don't know if he went to Vanderbilt or not, which, by the way, is a monster. Great baseball program, great school, probably the best school in the SEC. That's on a different subject. But Clay Travis really, really is on point and congruent with things. He's very good at deconstructing things that are complicated, and he's very good at deconstructing the media. See, and here's a cool thing about Clay Travis is he was considered himself as a classic liberal, and he worked for the Democratic Party, even though he's getting portrayed as somebody who's on the alt-right. And this is what most people, politics today is so stupid, so complicated, and too extreme. Most people that are normal, they cannot relate to any of the parties today because it's too much of a label. So a guy like me would be considered affiliated with the Republican Party when my opinions are not generally Republican. For example, one of the things that would separate me is I believe one of the reasons why somebody would consider me a Republican, and it's probably the smartest reason, is I do believe the fundamental difference is I believe in small government control. So I believe the state government should have more power than the local governments, because lifestyle in Boise, Idaho is different than Los Angeles, California. And it's the same with every state. And I also believe in the free market system. I believe the free market system is the fairest system. And I believe that I don't believe people should get handouts by the government. And the reason why, it's not that I don't think that some people need help, which they obviously do. It's the fact that I feel the government is absolutely terrible at managing money. And that's why there's a student loan crisis. That's why there's a housing crisis. I believe in the free market. I believe in free market capitalism. But I'm actually, even though I have a religious background as well, I'm actually socially more liberal. And another thing. So I'm a big proponent of firearms. I believe that people should have that. The Second Amendment's a big deal with me, but I'm also very socially liberal. So, this whole, marriage and homosexuality and all that, it just, as long as it doesn't bother me, I don't care. And so Clay Travis is a lot like me, except he would be considered liberal, and it's probably because that he wants more distribution with the government. I don't know. Regardless, he worked for the Democratic Party. But anyways, so Clay Travis breaks down some fallacies And I'm going back to a year ago with LeBron. And this is why, if you look at the numbers and you just look at what the average person has to deal with versus LeBron, okay? LeBron has the best physical gifts probably ever. Of you take every physical gift of you take the size and strength of Shaquille O'Neal, you take the explosiveness of speed of Michael Vick or whatever. Okay, he has everything, okay, in some form. Now, am I saying is LeBron as big and strong as Shaquille O'Neal? No, but he's close. He's like the German Shepherd of dogs. Okay, the German Shepherd doesn't score number one in a lot of categories, but they're always two or three. For example, the German Shepherd's nose is as good as a bloodhound, but they're two or three. The German Shepherd's bite isn't as good as a Rottweiler's, but it's right behind it. So it's like he's this guy, and this is why I first originally loved LeBron, because he had all these skills that are very, like, he's a great passer, he's a great scorer, he's a good shooter, he's a good rebounder, and he looks like a good teammate, right? Because he distributes, he's a distributor, right? This guy is one of the biggest. I don't want to say he's a fraud, but he's so opinionated, and he's so, like, his opinions and his views are so hypocritical and narrow that he just, he's becoming a cancer. And let me explain this. So as a player, he has all these elements, but as an individual, as somebody who's trying to get into management, he destroys things. He'd be so much better off if, like you said, I forgot the politician, but shut your mouth and do your job. Okay. So imagine all of us, I want to get back. I'm going to go to what he's doing with the Lakers, and then I'm going to go, well, actually, I'm going to do it beforehand. I'm going to lead up to the comment he made last year about the NFL that Clay Travis deconstructed. And then I'm going to let you know what it's doing to the Lakers now. Okay. So a year ago, LeBron James criticized the NFL of having the slave owner mentality and saying that people like Odell Beckham Jr. and Todd Gurley, who are outstanding players, make the league go around. And Clay Travis said, no, okay, the quarterbacks do as players. Now, a guy like me, I'm not going to say that one position is, killer, but if you talk about markets, the biggest stars are quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady. Those are the guys that make the league go around, LeBron, not Odell Beckham Jr. and Todd Gurley. Okay. And if we want to get into racial discussions, there's a reason why he said two black athletes instead of two white athletes. Okay. Now, I'm not going to go there. I think Odell Beckham Jr. and Todd Gurley are fabulous players. I think they're incredible. I love Todd Gurley. I love the way that he carries himself. But the way that the NFL is designed isn't as simple as that, LeBron. It's not that. There's more pieces in the NFL. And as far as the white owners being slave masters, okay, you don't know every white owner. Some of these guys might be pro player. That's how I would be, because if you understand, what it takes to play that position. And see, LeBron has this disconnect because he was so gifted at a young age. He got to skip all the bull crap. Okay. He got to skip student loans. He got to skip, coaches telling, walk on and no money and trying to play. He got to skip all that crap. He went right to making money. Okay. Right to it. I mean, imagine how many people in this country goes from, nobody to millionaire and based on his physicality alone. Okay. So this is why LeBron James, and this is why I'm criticizing him as some of his opinions, because he has this disconnect because he's always been the star. He's never had to grind. And don't get me wrong, the man, LeBron James, works incredibly hard. I'm not going to take away his work ethic, but because he had these gifts, he never had to overcome as much as a guy. Say, well, even Odell Beckham Jr., that guy's undersized, but he developed his skill set and became a star. But, he had to go through college. LeBron James didn't have to go through college. Okay. And I'm not good for LeBron. In fact, I agree with LeBron on criticizing the NCAA. I think the NCAA is corrupt. I think there's a lot of scam there. But the guy just has a huge disconnect. And then when, he goes to the Lakers and he totally gutted. See, this is what I can't stand is he totally gutted the roster. They were, imagine what that was like in that locker room when everyone was saying, oh, LeBron's going to trade you. LeBron's going to trade you. The fans were chanting that. He just totally dissected the roster. And, so he's turned all these positive traits that he's had into something that's very negative. And, I used to not like guys like Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant or any of them, but I actually have more respect for them now because even though they've had some traits that weren't likable, like selfishness and some sort of arrogance, I feel that they were more professional at playing their position. So, I think that regardless of how you felt about Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan, as far as he's arrogant, look, when it came to playing ball, those guys had a dog in them. And whether they were ball hogs or not, I would take that over what LeBron's doing outside of the court. I would take that over, well, he's a ball hog, but man, he gets it done. Kobe Bryant, the guy was just tough as nails. He's tough. And we're not just talking a physical thing with those guys. They're tough mentally. I think that's what the thing with Jordan too. People, I think they give Jordan, it's like they make it seem like that it's not even close that he's a greatest all time. There are people who could have competed with Jordan, but as far as, like, for example, people don't give them, who I love the Orlando Magic when Shaquille O'Neal first came out. That team did beat Michael Jordan's Bulls, and people don't give them credit for it. But Michael Jordan, the reason why I think what separates him is, yeah, he was amazing physically, but it was his mental game that set him apart over everybody. And I think that's, you could see the case with Tom Brady in today's NFL that, he's the greatest of all time because of that. Tom Brady's not the greatest of all time because he had the best arm or ran the fastest 40, all that stuff that's so trivial. It's the test of time. But see, this is why even Tom Brady, think about this. Tom Brady had to split time in college. Tom Brady was told he was too skinny, too weak. LeBron has never gotten this from anybody. Think about that. Think about all these guys that, were great at one. Michael Jordan got cut from his high school team as a sophomore. So a lot of these stories, a lot of these success stories in America are about people overcoming things and are about overcoming things and about working hard, but working hard to the point where they overcome any flaws they have. LeBron James almost doesn't have any physical flaws. He was given, it's like this, you're in a Texas Hold'em game and he has a straight flush on the board. Like, it's like he has all the genetic gifts where a lot of these people don't. And a lot of these people that do become rich, they've overcame things, and like I said, this is where I think Clay Travis doesn't give, LeBron James deserves a lot of credit for the work he has put in. I'm not saying that LeBron does not work hard, but I'm saying that he's had a distinct advantage that others have not. And that's why his opinions are not valid necessarily. And then the fact that he's comparing himself to Gandhi is just stupid. There's just so much stupidity in these arguments here. But yeah, look up Clay Travis. I feel he's very well rounded. It's got a really unique background. And, again, getting back to the NFL comments, since I am, since I am who I am, I don't get a pass like LeBron when race brings up into it. I'm not bringing up race. I'm not bringing up, you know, quarterbacks versus running backs versus all that versus Todd Gurley or Aaron Rodgers. I'm just trying to say, okay, you know, the quarterback is a marquee position in the NFL, and there's a reason why that it's set up like this. You know, I like players like Todd Gurley better than, you know, Aaron Rodgers. I love Aaron Donald. Like, I like guys that are physical. I like guys that are, you know, I like guys that can bench press over 400 pounds and run all this and tackle all that. But the way that, if you look at just how the rules in the scheme of things, and in the NFL, you know, it's more intellectual, but in the scheme of things, it really does come down. The quarterback and coach have more power as far as they control the outcome of the game more than a defensive tackle. End of story. Like, and like I said, I love defensive players. I love seeing strip sacks. I love seeing guys that have an impact. But at the end of the day, if you're building a franchise, you have to nail the quarterback. And it's not that, you know, you still can win with a media core quarterback, but he cannot be terrible. You cannot win with terrible quarterback play in the NFL. You can win with a game manager, you know, Alex Smith, even Blake Bortles. They won with that guy. But it doesn't, if you talk about like career and sustainability, the quarterback has to be great. You know, the reason why the Seahawks are not torn apart is because they got Wilson and Pete Carroll. And do I think that, first of all, I think Russell Wilson's an amazing player. And I think that he does very, very well. Amazing athlete. But, you know, and back in 2014, when the Seahawks won the Super Bowl, do I think that he got too much credit for it? Yeah, the defense won that Super Bowl. Case in point, they haven't come close since. You know, they had that one run against the Patriots, but we all know how that happened. And after that, it wasn't the same as that 2014 team, where that 2014 team, their best competition was the 49ers. And it's because they were so similar and so physical. But nobody competed. Like, even when I say that, you know, the team after that year, you know, when the Patriots won, the reason why I say it's not even close to that year of 2014 is because they just physically manhandled every team except one, which is the 49ers. But the Seahawks that year looked like a different team compared to everybody. And then in 2015, you know, the Patriots got them, and it was a close Super Bowl. It was a great Super Bowl. But it was like they weren't the same team. Even that year, they weren't the same team as that 2014 year. And, you know, I think Russell Wilson's a Hall of Famer. I think he's a top-notch quarterback. But again, I think that there's a little truth to the fact that I think he was treated a little special, because I think the defense, you know, I kind of side with him. And I'd love Russell Wilson. I don't like a lot of those personality types on the other end of the ball, but I think there's some truth to that. So even after all that, another situation in my life that I want to talk about, and this is about maintaining your cool. Okay. So I just got my pickup booted, even though I was parked in the spot that was designated for me, because I didn't have my tags in date and I didn't have my parking sticker. Okay. And I got pissed. I got mad. I was very angry at these security guys, and I thought that I basically blamed people but myself, and I was yelling. I was mad, you know. At the end of the day, and this security guy claimed that I said some things. He said that I was going to cut the boot, and he claimed that, and he was going to tow it, which they typically don't do that. But he said, "Oh, I'm going to tow your vehicle because you said this." And I asked him, you know, to present the evidence. He did not, because he didn't have it, because it's a lie, because I'd never said that. At the end of the day, do I think these other people handle the situation wrong? Yes. But I'm going to man up. They had every legal right to not necessarily tow my vehicle, but they had every legal right to boot my vehicle. And I had to pay the fine, $95. Okay. So the moral of the story is that the only person that hurt for me getting upset was me, especially if I would have done something bad. Say I would have hit the guy, which I felt like doing, right? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter my side of the story. Facts are facts. Okay. When you guys play this game, and like I said, I'm all for physicality. I'm all for being tough. but it's a different ball game when it comes to when you're out in society, you're out in clubs, you're out in restaurants. You can't physically hurt people. And I'm working on this. You have to work with your intellectual abilities. Now, are there certain times when you can physically hurt yourself? Yes. The only time you can do that is when they physically assault and hurt you, and you have to use equal force. Now, there's a lot of flaws in this logic, because say a guy comes with you with a knife and you shoot him with a gun, the law might not see that as self-defense, which I wish that, the law's the law, but it's so, there's so much gray. And this is a problem too. This is a problem with politics too. We are saying pick a side, and the whole thing with the third party too, I think is bullcrap too. We don't need a third party because it would just be more crap. Okay. But basically it's like they're saying pick a side when it's not, it's gray. You can't label people anymore into one particular party. And it's the same with the law. It's so gray and so vague, just like with the education system, it's gray and vague that you got to learn. There's a lot of instincts that you have to learn. Okay. And why should you give my opinions merit on any value that I've said? Well, right now I am part of the 99%. It's just, and I'm kind of glad. It's like, on one hand, I'm glad and I'm just a regular guy. I mean, I wanted to be something more in my life, but I'm glad I'm a regular guy. And I hope someday I can reach the elites. But I can truly say that I know what it's like to work a 9 to 5, to feel helpless, like you're not getting anywhere financially. I mean, because I'm living it. And that's the problem too with college and all this is you can sit down all day in a desk and you can grind out calc problems, you can go to sciences and labs, but in a profession, you cannot learn the profession until you do it. And that's the problem too. That's the problem with school and college is they're trying, at the end of the day, like I said, originally, I think it was about bettering yourself and all that, crap. At the end of the day, it's a sorting mechanism, and they're trying to figure out where you belong in the economy. So what I'm trying to get at is people don't know where you belong until you do it. It's like the whole thing, they go back to, I watched this on NFL scouting combine, right? And it's like with the scouting combine, and it's the same thing with college. Okay. Being a great lawyer doesn't necessarily, it might or might not correlate to going to Harvard Law. Going to Harvard Law doesn't make you necessarily a great lawyer. It might give you a great credential, but it doesn't make you a great lawyer. People are great lawyers, go into the courtroom, know how to argue and do it. Being running a 4.5 40 isn't going to make you a great quarterback, as proven by Tom Brady. It's the best way to learn is to go do it, is to do it, and not to read. I mean, reading books is great, and I'm a proponent of reading, but you got to go do it. You got to fail. And that's another thing. is our education system, and we don't. I mean, failure is an asset. It's a blessing if you look at it the right way. Because, I mean, what's worse, failing or sitting in the stands? Not even giving it a shot. You have to go take a shot. You have to contribute. You have to attempt to contribute to get anywhere. So, a couple things I want to, leave you with. Again, like I said, I know my YouTube videos are kind of drawn out, but sometimes I have a lot to say. I don't really talk much in my personal life. If you guys out there giving a speech, make sure they have objectives in the speech, and make sure that it doesn't get too complicated with that. As far as whatever shenanigans, LeBron James, like I said, he's ruined. And here's another thing: no player is bigger than a franchise. No player is bigger than a franchise. LeBron James is not bigger than the LA Lakers, and that's why I think these fans aren't liking him. Is because he goes there, and this is how it's been his whole life. It's like he's expected something. It's not like him going to Miami Heat. The LA Lakers are bigger than LeBron James. The New York Yankees are bigger than Mariano Rivera. And I like that, because to be a truly good teammate, you need to know how to serve. You need to know how to serve. You need to know how to sacrifice. You need to know how to do your job. That's why I love Tim Duncan. That's why I love the Spurs mantra. Not one of those guys celebrated themselves over the San Antonio community or San Antonio Spurs. You can see Tim Duncan have a go-away party, and that's the way he wanted it. That guy's a professional. And you know what? He might not have been as good as LeBron James, but he acted. But, more people should look up to Tim Duncan than LeBron James, because Tim Duncan acts like a professional. So, some people have more God-given ability, but you can choose your actions and you can choose how to act. Anyways, this is Robski once again. Don't pay attention to do things that challenge your bias. Look into things that challenge your bias, and don't pay attention to the corrupt media. Well, I mean, and if you do, don't always watch CNN, watch Fox News. Don't always watch Fox News, watch CNN. Challenge yourself, challenge your worldview. I've done it. I've challenged my faith. If you don't, it's not, be the human condition. The great thing about being human beings, and it says this in biblical scripture, as well as just, we have the freedom to do whatever we want and think whatever we want. Challenge yourself. It's Robski signing out.